to go from somebody that got told, we don't know whether this surgery's worked, so you're going to be able to walk again or you're not, sorry, to the first woman to ever pull 5 times her body weight. Back then, the women didn't run strongman gyms. Strongman gyms didn't really exist anyway, but women running them was crazy. I'm pretty sure we were one of the first in Europe or the world. We're definitely the first in the UK. There's just something about going against limitations that people have put on you. I will stop when the face of this sport is a little girl. And last year's OSG, we were the front of the billboards, we were the front of the posters, and I'm like, there we go. There we go. You see, like, in real life, a little girl is the face of the sport. We've been treated really quite badly with men. Like, that's I feel that's fair to say. And the woman I've become is the woman that would have saved me back then. I think I went through what I went through to give me the ability to help people.
Do I really have to do cardio?
No. How do we know if I'm overtraining?
Ready?
Should I cut weight in this competition?
RDLs. How much protein am I supposed to always?
Is it ironic that a podcast about strongman is hosted by a woman?
I think that's kind of the point.
This week's episode was brought to you by Strongman Institute and our newest sponsor, Strong IV. Strong IV is a nurse-led, athlete-focused hydration company with one goal: help every athlete compete at their best. Now, whether it's learning how to manage electrolytes during training cycles, getting strength back after a weight cut, which I have personally done, or giving your body the tools it needs to recover quickly between events. Recovery doesn't need to be complicated, but it should be consistent. Thank you, Strong IV, for your support. Everyone, highly recommend checking them out on Instagram. They have not only great tips on how to manage your hydration, but you can also see where they're going to be next. And if you're lucky, it'll be at your next competition. Welcome back to Lift and Load. Some stories need to be told. One such story is that of Rhianon Lovelace. Pound for pound, the strongest woman on the planet, 3 times world's strongest woman, world record holder across various events, including the deadlift, where at 62 kilograms, she lifted 623 pounds. As the owner and founder of Kaos Strength, Rhianon has touched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives in the strongman and powerlifting worlds. And we had the opportunity to sit down and talk to her. Important trigger warning for all. This episode does contain talk of sexual assault, domestic abuse, and other topics that might be sensitive for certain viewers. We highly recommend you listen to this incredible story being told, but please be mindful of any personal issues you might have with the content. With that, it's time to lock in, lift heavy, load up. Let's talk about being broken and how it actually makes you stronger.
All right. So first off, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming on. We have a really incredible guest to share with you guys today. And actually, we have an incredible guest and his human. Her human? Help me out. Is Kaos a boy or a girl? I don't even know.
She is a little girl.
Oh, that's perfect. So we have Kaos and her human, whose name is Rhianon Lovelace, and who is pound for pound strongest woman in the world. More accolades than I care to try to memorize, so I'll let her do it. And just an all-around pretty incredible athlete and guest. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Hi. Yeah, it's great to be on this. We really want to kind of get the story out there, get the kind of information out there, and hopefully just inspire as many people as possible.
My very limited interaction with you thus far is pretty inspired, so I'm good to go. But can you give us a little rundown of we'll call it the highlight reel, where you are pound for pound, you are a lightweight, strong woman, athlete, business owner. You are a founder of Kaos Strength, which is, if anyone's in any kind of strength sports, they've heard of you. They've heard of Kaos. Can you give us a little quick synopsis on just your background and how you got here?
Okay, so I was teeny tiny. I started this at like 42, 44 kilos. Wow. I have a background, very kind of traumatic background, eating disorders, domestic violence, all kinds of like really harsh violence. And then went into strength sports to be able to defend myself, basically. Ended up breaking my back in MMA. So kind of really just started in weights to get back normal. My friends were going to parties and my mum was having to come with me to wipe my bum. So I just wanted my dignity back. Oh yeah, it was my first deadlift in a wheelchair. So then
Stop.
we kind of got
Whoa.
oh yeah.
How?
And it's really funny actually. It's a funny story because I didn't put the brake on one wheel, so I kind of just went round. But yeah, and then we did like the crutches.
I'm trying not to laugh.
Several surgeries, the crutches, and then kind of just fell in love with being stronger than I was last week. Got appointed at Strength Sports, was a world champion in powerlifting that same year, and then became kind of like the figurehead for the powerlifting. First woman to triple bodyweight squat in the UK, and then transitioned over to strongwoman. Qualified for World Strongest Woman in my first show. I think my first Worlds is my third show. And it was just fine from strength to strength. The year after, we won our first World's Strongest Woman title. That was the year we actually set up Kaos. Kaos. We set up. This is why there's a paw in the logo. But we set up the gym, and then the clothing company came from that. The promotions company came. The live stream company came. Kaos Classic came. It really did absolutely explode. But my career-wise has just been phenomenal. 3 World's Strongest Woman wins. We've won every world championship there is for lightweights to win. I think at least 3 times. World records.
And we is Team Kaos, or is we, you, and your, like you and Kaos? Like, who is the we in this?
Well, I always say we because giving credit to Luke, he has coached me from the word go. He was the first person to be like, you could be world strong or something. And he's just, supported me in pretty much the whole way. We won pound for pound, strongest woman on the planet, unbeaten on British soil. I think I've had like 3 seasons just completely unbeaten. It's when you write it all out, it's absolutely crazy. We took We took heavyweight world records, 11 of the 12 deadlift world records, put 100 kilos on the deadlift world record, like myself. It's been a hell of a ride, that's for sure.
And it's still going. I mean, when we were taking a look at people to have on, Lauren came up to me and she told me a little about your background. I was like, oh my God, who is this woman? And it's the amount that you have done in such MMA, how long has your career been? A decade or so at this point, or?
It's about a decade and a half, if we include the powerlifting. And yeah, it was crazy realizing, I think it was my first comp that I won the best newcomer, which was really sweet. And then I won the best overall, which I just thought was an error at the time. That trophy is still up in my gym. We won awards that women have never won before. It's been first female athlete at World's Strongman. We were on the first televised UK Strongest Woman. It's been it's just been, when you put it all together and you actually list it, unbeaten at Europe since 2018. It's been phenomenal. It really, really has been a good journey.
That's awesome. Yeah. So when did you get started in Strongman?
My first comp was in March 2017. I met Luke in February 2017, something like that. Might have been January. I remember being awkwardly close to Valentine's Day because I didn't want to say anything, but I don't do that. And it was a bit so it was awkwardly close. And then, first comp was in March, April that year. Qualified for Worlds and made the finals of Worlds for the first time in 2017.
Wow. So the same year.
It was crazy, to be honest, because I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea how the sport worked. I saw the list and I was like, well, my name's pretty high up and that's a relatively big number next to it. So I think that's good.
I think that's awesome. Something's going right, I guess.
And then I remember when we went home from that, that was when I really kind of was like, I'm just going to quit everything and start a gym and I just want to go all in with this. It was an amazing community. It was an amazing thing to be a part of. And I'm definitely, if I'm going to do something, I'm all in. So I quit my job. So 6 weeks later is when Kaos Gym opened.
Wow.
Oh my God. Full send.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was back then, the women didn't run strongman gyms. Strongman gyms didn't really exist anyway, but women running them was crazy. I'm pretty sure we were one of the first in Europe or the world. We were definitely the first in the UK. And then 6 months later, I'm telling Luke to quit his job because I need him here. Like I need another kind of boss in charge, and it's just exploded. We've expanded 3 times. We opened a gym in Wales Wales Chaos Gym. And yeah, the clothing just started as a few, gym t-shirts. We now do a huge range, clothing, equipment, design my own deadlift suit, launched that last year. We're able to just revolutionize and bring, high quality kit at budget prices. And we've got sponsored athletes. It's been, I think last year we did nearly 20,000 in prize money, which has been a big goal of mine. I want to get into six figures. So I want to be able to hand that baby girl, that kind of money out. That's what the sport deserves. It's what it needs. And I know firsthand how hard these athletes work.
Yeah. And are you actively still competing, or you are on the business side right now?
So I'm definitely more on the business. I retired as a full athlete, I won Worlds for the third time. I think I did another season unbeaten. And then I was like, look, the full sport has been put on the back burner. Because I'm not training full time, I could put another about 30, 35 hours into the business a week, which is crazy. I have to do the 5 times bodyweight deadlift. That's for me. That's not for showcasing. It's not a contract thing. It's just, it means so much to me. To go from somebody that got told, we don't know whether this surgery's worked, so you're going to be able to walk again or you're not, sorry, to the first woman to ever pull 5 times her body weight. I need to finish it. So I've dropped loads of weight over my first year of being retired, and we are, I think, is it next week? I think it might be a week on Monday that the big block starts.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, I'm doing some math knowing that you're a lightweight. So what's your deadlift right now?
So I pulled 290, which is like 638, 640 pounds, something like that. But yeah, that was it. And you know what? It was freaking easy. I should have put 300 on that day. I should have put 300 on. Never stop regretting that.
Both said it.
But cannot relate.
I'm down now to about 50 kilo body weight. And like 250, I've done for 5. It's not, I have come off all my assistants, and for a full year, which is really nice. And I do plan to actually stay off it, and to kind of just prove to myself, really, that, this was me and my hard work.
I knew we talked a little bit earlier before this call that, you did a little bit of MMA, and I really want to loop back around to kind of your background and, because I do think we are so much more than the sum of our parts, but also how we got here is so relevant, right? You become stronger through every experience. But going from, first off, where was broken in your back? Like, are we talking,
It was actually an illegal kick that I received, and realized why it's straight up illegal. It just snapped spines. And it caused so much damage within the vertebrae themselves, that ironically, I've had pain in pretty much every other part of my body during my career. Back's been fine. But yeah, it was, I ended up in combat sports because I was getting really badly bullied. Captain of the maths club, captain of the chess club, walked around with the textbooks like this. I just love academics. I loved A stars and things like that. And I was getting really badly bullied, and my dad had enough of it. Teachers weren't doing anything, and he was like, you are going to learn to stand up for yourself. So he took me to judo, and I was really bad at it because I kept striking. So we went
that's a thrower.
We went to MMA. I'm definitely a striker. And I did pretty good, for somebody in my size. And then, we had that. And it was not fun. It was probably some of the lowest. Ironically, that year and this year have probably been the 2 hardest years of my life. You think your life is over, you're a young teenager and all your friends are starting to get their freedom. And we're at that age where boys start to get involved. And I'm a cripple. And I try to wipe my bum. And just this feeling that you're not going to function for the rest of your life. You're always going to be alone. You're always going to be dependent. It just really kind of set something in me that I was like, we're not doing this. So I started at the gym.
Wow. And how long did it take you to get from the wheelchair to actually getting back into the gym?
Not long, to be fair. I was still in the wheelchair. So I started, and so my first deadlift was in a wheelchair. It was 2 kilo dumbbells. Put my lap wheel in the way. And I didn't put the brake on one wheel properly. So I kind of just span.
You got a story out of that one. I mean, let's talk about definition, no excuses. I have people that have come to the gym and they're like, oh, I'm a little sore today. I'm a little tired. that's nothing. I mean, I guess it's really irrelevant when you're like, how long does it take to get back in the gym when you from the wheelchair? We'll just go in the wheelchair. Just do it anyways.
Yeah, it was really sweet actually, and I wish I'd have kept in contact with them, but I didn't go at the normal kind of school hours because I was getting badly bullied. So I went really early in the morning, and then basically my training squad was about 5 or 6 for 8-year-old men, and they were amazing. They were the best guys. I wish I'd have stayed in contact with them.
Awesome.
They were amazing. They were so supportive, and it's actually them that pushed me onto strength sports. It's them that first told me about the existence of powerlifting, and that was it. I was off.
I love that.
And that's incredible.
Great.
When did all the chihuahuas come into the picture? Because that's part of your thing, is you just have a series of chihuahuas. Like, have you also you're like, nope, I'm going to get a strength sports, I'm going to start a company, I'm going to name it after dogs. Like, was that like a thing for you, or was that just evolved and you're like, this is brilliant? What kind? Yeah, because you said you were a nerd. And so what?
Oh, I was like I correct records and stuff now. I correct A-stars. These 26 GCSEs, A-stars across. If I got 99% in a maths test, my face dropped. I'm like, what?
I get it.
I took my GCSEs. I started taking them about 5 years early. I just love to learn. I'd read textbooks for fun. I like research. I love data, numbers. You've got to think I was a kid with no friends. Okay. So numbers were my friends. In fact, my best friend in high school was a librarian. I'm not even joking. He was also I miss him. And he was in a wheelchair as well. And he was a chemist. And he used to let me skive PE. So the sports class, he used to let me skive that and come and read books in the corner of the library. And I'd seek him. He was fine. He was the best. So yeah, I just absolutely loved it. And then theoretical physics was my thing. Astrophysics, I adored the idea of something so vast like the universe, and the calculations and the existence of dark matter was probably my favorite. Time travel, wormholes, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot more kind of, legit than people think it is. And Einstein was my hero, that kind of shit, Vera Rubin. And I went to uni to do physics, and I was sitting top of my class when I won the world championships. And I came back and I was like, you need to pick. You have to. In fact, there was one point I had to fly to Europe, weigh in, fly back to Manchester, sit an exam, fly back out, compete, and then I won 5 gold medals. Ooh. And aced my test. And at that point, it was like, you need to pick.
And you got the A. Yeah.
Trying to rehydrate and have your electrolytes and your aminos and stuff while you're sitting an exam. Yeah, that was not funny. And then straight back to the airport.
No. Oh my God. That is just badass as hell. That's so cool.
I mean, I've definitely done more badass comps and stuff like that. But anyway, that was just, if this is what you want to do, this is what you need to do. Yeah. There was, oh, she's sleepy. Am I boring you? But yeah, the Chihuahuas, I was supposed to be a scientist, and then met Luke and moved to Preston. He liked Chihuahuas. I did not like Chihuahuas. I was not a Chihuahua fan.
I'm not going to lie. I tend to be, I've heard something, and Kaos, I'm saying this respectfully. If you are a little dog, thank you. If you're a little dog person, you love all dogs. You're like, yep, little dogs are great. Big dogs are great. It's fine. But if you have big dogs, you're like, I could kick that thing pretty far. I've noticed that with big dog owners. They're like, little dogs are little rats. But he's a big dog at heart. I say that, and I've got 3 dogs, and one of mine's a little pit that thinks that she's big, but I call her my pint-sized pitty because she's like, she just stopped growing one day. And yeah, she's a jerk, but she's my jerk.
She's our biggest by a mile. We have teacup Chihuahua. Yeah, I do think about drop kicking him over the fence regularly.
Listen.
Yeah, Luke loved him. Luke was obsessed. And then we looked to get a puppy. She was basically the runt of the litter that was about to get, I don't even know. I wouldn't have asked if I didn't know the breeder. So I was like, I will go and get you cash right now. I'll take her right now. Messaged Luke and was like, so you need to go to the pet shop on the way home, because I went to view the puppy and I've got it. So
and we have it.
And then we just rescued my staffy Max. He was a rescue. We rescued Mayhem over COVID. We bred Carnage, and we just bred this year Little Monster and Mischief.
Okay, hold. I need a list of all the names. So we've
So
got
you've got
Chaos is
Chaos,
the OG.
Carnage. Yeah.
Okay.
Carnage is her baby, her first baby. Mayhem is her baby daddy. And then we have Monster and Mischief, which are the second lot of litters. And then we have Max. My
Oh,
Max.
you have
And
a
then
full
Max.
house.
It's and we
Oh.
need a Havoc. We need there's more. Yeah, there's more.
Oh, there's so many more. I mean, it's like one part you have a whole like Marvel character lineup, and then you also have everything else from. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit of like your theoretical physics and whatnot come in though. Like, there's everything from like chaos theory. Like, it's pretty cool. I dig it.
I mean, the dogs have been the name of the company. I set up the gym. I had all the kit arriving. I was painting and decorating. We had 6 weeks to open, so it was dawn till dusk kind of in there, and we couldn't think of a name. We just everything sounded shit, and I was like, we are running out of time. We need to get a logo. And we were just pissing about one day and said like, oh, come on, Chaos, let's take you to your gym. Chaos' little gym. And that was it. We just Chaos Gym.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
stuck.
So my boyfriend, where we actually train out of, he actually his logo. Well, it's called Bear Iron Barbell, and it's named after his dog. He's a big Akita. So
I love it.
I love
love
that.
it. Yeah, that's what you are. I know you're massive. You are massive. Don't you listen? Don't you listen?
You're
Yeah.
the biggest dog ever.
Like the gym is very, very dog friendly. We have dogs in there all the time. We've actually got a new line of dog hoodies coming out.
Yeah, tell me a little about that because I saw that post on Instagram, and you've got a new business collab completely that's unrelated to strength, but it's all chaos. So that was cool.
Well, we've got 2 coming, right? We had the collab with Brambles Bakes, which is actually one of my athletes. One of my pro bencher, Salak. It does like luxury handmade dog treats. You want to see the cakes and shit? They're like wedding cakes. They all like, she does not mess about. So we've done like a custom line of like selection boxes, advent calendars, cute little like treats and stuff for the dogs. And then we have Riding with Chaos, which is going to launch very soon, which is a luxury equestrian line. And
No way.
yeah, that
Do you
was supposed to
ride,
start
or is it
with-
an athlete as well?
Yeah, right. I rescued a stallion like this time last year. He was about to get put to sleep, and he is now my best pal. We've been offered some major opportunities on him. So, and it's hilarious. He's actually too small, and I've had to fight for his kind of like interview and things. And they're like, he's just a bit small. Like, you have no idea how long I've heard that. Like, you have
Really?
Oh god, my life's
How many
haunted by that
how many
phrase.
hands?
He is 13'3".
Oh, he's a little small.
He's a Welsh bee. I've bred like warm bloods and sports horses, and now I have a Welsh bee stallion, who is going to be a little eventing pony. And so yeah, we have Riding with Chaos, and yeah, we're supposed to launch with about 6 products, and I think we're about 49 as it stands, which is pretty standard. We've got like 3 sponsored elite riders, about 5 different yards, sponsorship lined up. This is supposed to be a little thing, and this is what I do. I did this with the British Pathway, with the Chaos Classic, with the Chaos Pro. I have an idea, and in 48 hours, I'm like, there's the business. We're doing this.
It's made. I mean, and I also love that. I don't know if you realize. So you were lightweight athlete. You named a gym after Chihuahuas. Now you have a stallion that's too small. You have a theme that I need you to keep running with. That is, it's okay that you're tiny. So I don't know if you did that on purpose. And that's, I mean, Lauren, there you go. You got
Yeah, exactly.
your entire
I'll
future as a lightweight.
I know.
I think across the board, like I tend to get a lot of athletes that have been like written off. Scoliosis, missing limbs, back surgeries. The MS, anything really. The people that have been told they can't do this. I take them and I make champions out of them. There's just something about going against limitations that people have put on you. I've always said, you set your own limits. You decide. I said at one point, I was like, I'll send you the video. It's awesome. I will stop when the face of this sport is a little girl. And last year's OSG, we were the front of the billboards, we were the front of the posters. And I'm like, there we go. There we go. You see, like in real life, a little girl is the face of the sport. And
That's just so incredible. How did your athletes do? I know that, so there were quite a few of them there. I know you said you had some novices that went to OSG. You had some, not novices per se, but novice to OSG. And then you had some frequent competitors, like how, because you are a very skilled coaches. On top of all the things, you're also a coach, and you have incredible athletes from every walk of life, and they're kicking ass too. So how are they doing?
I think the background in physics and stuff, the mechanics side of things really helps. And my mum was a semi-pro athlete her whole life, so understanding gait and things like that just kind of came naturally. But yeah, this year's OSG was a weird one. It was our smallest team by a mile. It was the first OSG I didn't attend. Oh God, it was a hell of a weekend. We're usually there with like 12 to 15 athletes, getting kind of like 3 to 5 trophies. This year, I think it was 4 boys and 4 girls. Very kind of, there was a lot of controversy this year in the lead up to OSG, and there's a lot of pathways and things starting in Britain. So a lot of my athletes are kind of in the middle with things. But yeah, we had Andrea and Faye, and they're our top 2 girls. Well, Grace as well. Grace is a world champion. But Grace got injured, unfortunately. She was kicking ass. Grace is, so obviously Luke helped me break the Axel world record, and Grace is now come through, and he helped her take my Axel record. So it's so lovely to keep it in the family. She is so new to top level. She is a fantastic woman, fantastic athlete. And we were absolutely gutted but she's still climbing. She's got a massive future. She just needed to be, I think she was so close to making the finals, and she only did half the comp. And then we had Andrea and Faye very, very close to podium. Faye's debut athlete. Again, she's incredible. She's like a 110-ish overhead. She actually took the 73 Axel press world record off me. So, both my class records went to 2 of my girls, which is, it's just fantastic to see. And I think it really I think people underestimate Luke's coaching, and I'm like, to coach the record holder and then to coach the next 2, that's, that doesn't get seen. I think she finished in 5th. And then we had our Bridget, she was debut, first time there. Honestly, you can't not love Bridget. She's another one. She's very tall. She's a master's. She's another one that's just written off. And I'm like, actually, this woman is, you blow that whistle and you watch her go. She'll kick your ass. And then on the boys' side of things, we've got the new record holder, Richard Molnar, with the deadlift. He's coached by MST. He trains at Kaos. And we had Tyler Davis, coached by our USA coach, Chris. He's a former champion there, and he's a former PSL and official strongman champion. And we had one of my favourites, Nick Myers, Uncle Nick. He was there. Unfortunately, he wasn't. He was fresh on the back of winning Americas, and this just wasn't his year. He has won this before. He's taken records. He's just, but yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't his time. But I think he really did show the kind of person he is, the kind of athlete he is, and that was just incredible. And then we had the return of Luke Davis. Now, Luke, me and him are opposite athletes. I'm a psychopath. He is very, very chill, and he was shitting his pants. Sorry, man. He was absolutely, he had log first. He hates log. It's his worst event. Mm-hmm. He was out first, and this is after a 5-year break. Jesus Christ. He does the first lift, fails it, loses control of the log, nearly dislocates his shoulder. I knew he obviously had a shoulder injury in the past. When you sat there and you're just like, and I was like, baby, walk away. And I was like, it's going to be done. This is, oh my God, if your shoulder's gone, it's deadlift, you joke. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And while all this is going through my head, it kind of goes back to the log. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He cleans it.
Are you just screaming at the TV?
I'm like, what are you doing? You can't, what are you doing? You insane? And then he hits it. And I don't even think I screamed. I think I just sat there what? I don't think I've ever been more proud of him. Absolutely. At that point, I didn't care about points. I didn't care about rankings. That was just the most badass and most courageous moment I've ever seen him do. And I'm like, you know what? You could walk out and come home now. And that was just, he was brilliant. Got beat in the deadlift though.
Oh,
I was like, you got one job,
thing.
Win the deadlift.
That's his thing.
Yeah, he was the first man to 900 pounds. He's phenomenal deadlifter. He pulled 420 at his peak. And obviously, me and him, I think we're the only 2 people on the world that have deadlift records in multiple categories. Like, we should probably have kids for like the sport.
Yep, for the future of the sport, there
That's
might need to be a
the sport.
petition like
And
that.
put it in the lab.
You know, it's fine. Yeah, you understand the concept of breeding. You know, you said you bred horses, dogs. It's the same thing. It's genetics. It's
Selective
do it for
breeding.
us. But
But they were,
strongest.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. And again, in the deadlifts, he fought like crazy. I've never seen that from him. And I'm so proud. And then, he's doing our Cumbria as the guy that beat him. Torio, I think it was. And he just breezed it. He just like absolute hats off to that guy. He was comfy. I'm like, who is this guy? What? And then I realized I actually made him a deadlift suit like a few weeks ago.
Oh, so it's your fault.
So imagine losing the deadlifts and then finding out that your missus made that guy the kit that he beat you in.
Is that a silver lining or is that worse? I don't know. It's like, well, at least we made good shit. Like,
oh, sorry, I didn't. But no, he was so sweet. You know, the good Luke's like, you know, he really was the better deadlifter one, and that's, you know, he wasn't wrong. Yeah, and yeah, it was just, I think he finished overall. I think he was 14th overall. So that just, it meant an awful lot to him his first year back.
There's something to be said about competing in a sport with a partner who's also competing at a high level and being in very different categories. And that's something that, I mean, Lauren, you have the same scenario. You're a lightweight, you know, Zach is technically a lightweight, but it's very different weights. So when you speak of, oh, well, you know, this is my deadlift, you're looking at the 5 times, you're currently at the 250, and at his prime, he did 450. Like, the discrepancy in weight is so incredible. But you're training the same thing. You know what? You can work out together. You can train together. You just load plates a little different.
Right.
And that, do you train together or not really?
No.
Just won't go well.
Oh.
No. And we're very, very different people in terms of, well, just people, but our training, the way we train, how we like to train. And no, we learned early, we don't do that. We coach each other. So we have like somebody on he will coach my technique and I'll coach his. Like even now, you know, if I was really busy during his world's prep, but he was, you know, we do sessions in my log. So I just work with his log weekly, just to get his positioning bang on. But yeah, no, we do not train together. We might train at the same time. That is
opposite from what I would have guessed. Because normally, and Lauren, we've talked about this quite a bit, is I have always found trouble. I've talked to a lot of people, you don't coach your partner. You can't coach your significant other because it gets weird. But people will train together, and you're the opposite. Like, no, I'll tell you what to do. I just won't work out with you.
Right.
So we won't program each other. He works with Tyson Morrissey in Australia. Great guy. And like Tyson's his coach. I help his technique. You know, that's I do think, again, totally personal situation. Some people nail it. I don't think you can coach, as in like program and things, your partner. I think your partner needs to be the person that you go to bitch about your coach to.
Yeah. It's completely true.
When we tried to do it, you know, when I was having meltdowns, he was like, right, it's a 50-50. I need to either kick her ass and be like, come on, wake the fuck, you need to go. We need to get this shit done. Come on. Or give her a cuddle and give her ice cream. And if I get this wrong, she's going to explode.
Yeah.
Yes.
That sounds right.
So yeah, it was tough. So yeah, we just kind of learned that early on. But yeah, Tyson's a great guy. It's a case of he would program Luke. We might have a little bit of a chat about it. I'd say if my opinion or something like that, and then it would either be taken on board and changed, or just like, no, we're going to stick with this. But yeah, it keeps a very nice kind of level. Obviously, Luke handles me on comp day. I will go to Luke if I've got any questions or any kind of, when you're near your peak, you're usually not thinking properly, especially when it comes to rest. So I usually am like, look, would you agree this is the right thing to do? Or am I just being a pussy? And then, yeah, on comp day, obviously he knows me better than anybody else. So he handles me on comp day.
Lauren, I knew you had a couple questions about the actual, like, her competition style. Because again, you two are more similar. So I compete in the midweight category. So for me, I've always been a relatively bigger person. You both are not large. You're both more lightweight. So I know you had a couple things. So I want to let you dig into that.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been doing this for about a year and a half. And I guess I just have a couple of questions as to like how, and then this will kind of go back to what you were speaking about before, but how you started and how you kind of got where you are today. Like, what did your training look like as a lightweight woman?
Like when I got good or at the start, because they were very, very different things.
Let's do both.
So at the start, I couldn't afford a coach. I was doing a lot of research myself. I was having to like learn a lot of things myself. Again, I just kind of was like, look, you're not a lift expert. You are a mechanics expert. You know, you understand leverages, you understand torque, you understand power development. And obviously I had a decent knowledge of things like nutrition and stuff because of my mom. So I kind of went a different road to most people. I use a lot of data. I use a lot of velocity charts. I use a lot of things like that when I got good. But at the start, I had no idea what I was doing. So I just did everything. I used to train 10 times a week on the deadlifts. I knew you used variations to fix stuff, but I didn't know what and when. So I just did all of them.
Yeah.
And I was
Why
like,
not?
I would do deadlifts, and then I would do block pulls, deficits. I would do slow eccentrics. I would do pause work. I would do banded work. And I'm like, I don't know which one of these is right, so I'm going to do all of them. One of them's got to be
Yeah,
right.
that sounds like me.
It's probably not the most smart way to do it. And then especially with like my enhancements and stuff, how the people I listened to on them was horrendous. I was very, very lucky that it works really well. That was really dangerous. That was like Russian roulette. I just got lucky. And towards the end, it's all data for me. Your emotions, your feelings just lie to you. So I like to use velocities. I use acceleration, deceleration to work out weaknesses. It's very, very much when I pull a lift, I don't give a shit. People come over and like, oh, that was amazing. I'm like, I just calculate it.
Again, it's you're a nerd at the end of the day, and I love that. By the way, that is the greatest compliment from me is calling someone a nerd. Because I always say I didn't become a dumb jock until I was in my 20s. I was the straight A's. I did the college classes. By the time I'm like 16, I've got a university degree. Essentially, I did the exact same thing, and now I'm like, math makes sense. It's literally everything in sports, and mainly strongman. It's just, and Lauren's the same way. I mean, your background was working with medical stuff too. Like it's just math and physics, and how do you make the body move in the most efficient manner? And it's so funny that people go, "Oh, strength sports is the bumbling big dumb guys." I'm like, no, you got to be kind of brilliant to be good. You could be a bumbling dumb guy, but
I've always said there has to be a smart person. So if the pro is thick as pig shit, they've got a smart person behind him. Like they've got a smart. There's always an intelligent person. That's when. Oh, bloody hell!
Coming. You're good. Hey, that was the greatest product. Do you see the product placement that just happened? There's a fall, and all I see is a Kaos logo behind your shoulder. I think that was staged.
This is one of the only things that isn't Kaos. I brand push so much. I was like, let's not look like. Let's just be down. Be casualry.
This is the universe saying no. Kaos will be in the shot.
Everything is maths. I think it's one of the reasons I've specialized my peak. I've really my deadlift peaking is like, it does not fail if you're hitting the numbers that it says you need to hit. And then I do go heavy a lot, heavy singles, things like that. But the majority of my training is all velocity based. For the first 50% of my deadlift peak, we won't be going over 60%.
Yeah.
So it's all about power output. Obviously very simple formula, power and time are related. The faster you move something, the more powerful you are. So we use a lot of that, and it just, Luke can't be pulling 400 kilos all year round. But what he can do is be pulling 300 kilos to the speed that he pulls 200 kilos, and then he's more powerful.
Yeah.
So we have a very low injury rating on the team, which I don't think people judge enough. They look at titles, and I'm like, how many of their athletes got hurt? And myself, we did 14-year, arguably one of the most decorated on the planet, and we had a 2 millimeter tear in my tendon once, and that's all we've had.
That's incredible. Yeah, you're right. Not enough people judge, did the athletes get hurt? Because as a great coach, and you're like, oh, well, I have let's say you got a pool of 20 athletes and one of them wins World's Strongest Man. Great. Did 19 break in the process? And so that's important. And it's something that fortunately as the sport, and I'd love to get your opinion on this because you've seen the sport really evolve and you've seen it change. You've seen people from other areas, and because strongman is growing every day. And so as a result, we're having feeders from other disciplines, other sports. I mean, we have obviously there's the easy like powerlifting adjacent, there's CrossFit that comes in, and then there's people that come from various backgrounds. But I feel other sports tend to do I'll say other high level and professional sports do a good job at managing injuries and recovery theoretically. I'm not counting American football in that because they're terrible at it. But there's something to be said about getting different minds and different influences to be able to bring some elevation to the sport and bring more standards instead of just let's pick up a really heavy thing and you can wreck yourself in the process, which I think is a very, 1980s, 1990s, even early 2000s way that strongman went about it.
It's still most heavyweight men nowadays. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it was actually my mum. So my mum is like, if you think I'm badass, you want my mum on here. She's the real goat.
Bring her. Let's go.
She was running races days after giving birth, days before giving birth. I think she did a marathon like literally a day or 2 days before one of me and my sisters was born. She just does not give a fuck. She does mountain marathons well into her 60s. I grew up watching a woman beat men at physical sport. She would regularly beat men in races. It wasn't, and even into her 60s, she would still beat men in their 30s. It wasn't abnormal for me. It was harder, but if she works hard, it can be done. I don't see the problem. Yeah. And it was my first Europes I won. I did the sandbag medley, nailed it. It was happy as hell. She comes over and she's like, "Why are you running like that? Why are you running like that? I saw you have to run." And she just, everybody was laughing, and she was like, "Why weren't you like this? What are you doing? Run like this." And I joked, and I was like, "Mum, it's not sprinting." And she's like, "Yes, it is." She was like, "What's the point in doing the sandbags if you are running like crap?" And yeah, I just had this light bulb moment, and I was like, she's right. We need foot speed like a footballer. Mm-hmm. We need agility like a rugby player. We need to be able to sprint like a sprinter. We need to, we need the speed and athleticism of an Olympic weightlifter and the strength of a powerlifter. We need a bit from everything. Yeah. And that's something that I have all my athletes doing drills that you'd see from football athletes, drills that you'd see from hurdlers. You keep the hips healthy, throwers, you keep the shoulders healthy. There's so much. You want to be taking bits from everywhere to build the ultimate athlete. And I think the inclusion of what I call external sport, like cross training, coaches, if anything, has just benefited the sport. I love it. We had high-level Olympic weightlifters come over, and oh gosh, please sneeze, bless you. And we had, their athletes got fast. Their athletes' agility and coordination was right up there. And we've seen. I work with some MMA promoters, UFC. The whole point of Kaos Live was to step up strongman into a modern sport entertainment era. Really get, like almost UFC, wrestling, but real. And really engage the fans all year round. And who's better than UFC in wrestling? We should be to work with people outside of our industry. Festival promoters. Nobody gets ticket sales like festival promoters. They also are very good like health and safety, accommodation, all that kind of stuff. So promotion, we should be looking to work with all these people and be taken from all of them. So yeah, the majority of the people I've worked with the last few years have got nothing to do with strongman. And you know what? If they come into our sport and they don't make any benefit at all, we've got one more fan in our sport. I don't see and they could teach people apart. So it's, we're seeing bodybuilding nutritionists come over. We're seeing kind of all sorts of, with therapists. Yes, we need therapists. We're kind of starting to touch on this. We need to talk about mental health, guys. We need therapists. We need trauma experts. We need all these people that can just really help everybody in the sport.
And, I want to bring it back. Do you actually you said something that Lauren and I spoke about the other week. So Lauren and I just had one of our episodes with just her and I, and we talked quite a bit about the importance of finding strength and being any kind of athlete and role model for your kid. And then you just had a whole conversation about how you watched your mom be a badass, and here you are. So I think you're kind of proof of, I mean, Lauren, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's literally, you are proof of exactly what we said. Like, you see your parent do something, so that's just normal for you. And now you become this truly elite champion, and you're like, well, yeah, that's just what we do.
You're used to it. Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing weird about that.
We didn't come from a particularly wealthy kind of setup, and she just worked so hard. Like, she did everything possible. She went to uni with young children. She had several jobs. She was a single mom. You know, and I think the biggest thing I love about my mum is like her principles. She will do the right thing if nobody else will stand up, and it's going to make her life harder. It's going to make her on her own. She does not. She is like, this is who I want to be. And you know, every year she helps the homeless. She does homeless shelters. She is genuinely just a incredible woman. And yeah, when it comes to doing, what is it? We don't have dreams, we make plans. Her thing that she always used to say to me is, you know, don't try so hard to fit in when you were born to stand out. She used to say as well, which I never understood till this year, that I was born to lead armies. And I'm like, Mum, I'm not going in the military. I'm going to be a scientist. Shut up. And I realized this year that when shit hit the fan, especially with the British pathways, people just called for us to step up. And we did. And they just got behind us. And it was a phenomenal, same with the 64s, you know. I never wanted to be the leader of the 64s. And it just, the girls wanted me there. And I was like, you know what? It's an honor. And I will do this as long as I can, to the best that I can. It started to feel like a duty. These were my girls. You know, they turned to me, they looked to me. I'm not going to let them down. And yeah, that's aside from like my mom's actual athletic career.
Your mom's awesome.
And you know what? She's still got a bloody six-pack better than me at 70.
Isn't that bullshit sometimes? I'm like, come on.
Does she do strongman?
She does a little bit of training.
Okay.
But no, she's, leave it with me. I'm going to get her in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just, obviously a lot of it was long distance running in her later years. So, and obviously now she's just turned 21. We want to really work on like strengthening bones and, you know, not with the muscle wastage and things like that. So yeah, she is going to be doing it. Go on then, baby girl. Go on. She is going to be doing a lot more. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Before we wrap up for today, there's one thing that we talked about, you touched on at the beginning, and that I think is important for a lot of people to hear, is your past was not all sunshine and roses. You know, you did go through some pretty rough things that I think the average person would consider themselves broken as a result, right? They would go, oh, I've had trauma, and you hear it a lot in strength sports. It's come up on even some of our previous episodes where people find it as a way of self-healing. I know for a fact that a bunch of people listening have some form of relation to that concept. What would you tell them? I mean, from someone that has gone through it and not only come out on the other side, but come out so damn victorious. What would you say?
Oh God, bloody hell. Like it has been, I mean, before I was 18, we saw serious domestic abuse. I ended up getting stabbed. We saw eating disorders. I was raped. I actually had to compete the day after that. And I won 5 gold medals. I competed with stitches in. We've been treated really quite badly with men. Like that's I feel that's fair to say. And the woman I've become is the woman that would have saved me back then. You know, I've become literally my own hero. Be the role model that you would have needed at the time. I wear a lot of, I don't know if you can see, belly tops because of my scar. I hid it for a long time and I refuse to hide it. When I look in the mirror, I see a woman that can achieve anything she wants to achieve, that does not let men, and you know, I have a lot of male friends. Some of the best people I've ever met are men, and how these people treat you, it has no relation on your life. It has, you want to have your happiest, fullest, you know, I help so many people, and that for me is, you know, the purpose. And I think I went through what I went through to give me the ability to help people.
I mean, you're clearly doing an amazing job at it.
It's been a fun ride. And that was all before I was 18.
I feel like you did it so well, right? You took something, you learned, you did the athletic side, you completely blasted through that. And now through the business and what you're working on, your reach is just inevitably be greater on the business side than it can be on the athlete side. You touch more lives, you work with more people, and you have the ability to be this role model and this face, and you can be the hero for whoever needs it to be.
I had a parent say to me, I hate the term role model because I see myself as like broken still. I still have a lot of problems. Like I have like daddy issues. I have like abandonment issues. I have like straight up anger problems. Like I have, and I'm like, I still feel really broken. And somebody came up to me and was like, you're my daughter's like idol. You're a role model. And I was like, pick somebody better. I was like, I still have sleepless nights, anxiety. I still have serious bouts of depression. And yeah, I'm still broken. I'm just trying, you know?
You're trying.
And she was like, that's why. She was like, everybody's broken. She was like, but you're still here. You're still trying, you know? Like I said, when I look in the mirror, I do feel beautiful. I feel like I have a worth. I feel like I have a value. And I feel like even the shit people do to me now, they stick a knife in my back, I will pull it out and give it to them so they can butter their bread. You know, what they do to me has got no impact. Like you hear that thing, don't you? Don't cross rivers for people that won't step over puddles for you. Mm-hmm. No, I'll cross rivers for anybody. If I have the opportunity and I have the power and the energy and the time to cross a river for somebody, I will do that. Whether they've stuck a knife in my back or not, whether they do it for me is irrelevant, because that's who I want to be. And, you know, otherwise you're constantly letting people's actions change you. And I think that's you can still go on to be really, really proud of yourself. You can still accept your brokenness. You can still accept your scars. I always joke that my back's had so many knives in it, it's just scar tissue now. But yeah, you know, I still love, I still trust, I still have an amazing friends. And all the stuff that happens to you, it just gives you a point of view. That's all it does.
I can't think of a better mic drop than that. Like, I think that you just summed up every single, and here's what I'll say. You know, I want to leave people with that today because I think that's such an impactful statement. I think that means so much. So thank you from me, Lauren, I'm sure, on behalf of everyone and the sport. Thanks to you for what you've done. And I want you back after you get the deadlift. That's what we're gonna have. We're gonna have a recap segment when you get your deadlift.
Sneaky preview for your show. We're all talking about the 5 times body weight. I'm not. I'm talking closer to 6.
Of course you
6?
are.
5 top scaring me, and
Surprise.
I won't talk about the 6. And I'm like, you know what? I am 50 kilos in body weight. That 300 kilos, I reckon we can get close. So yeah, I want to go on the 5 times.
Oh my God.
I'm mind blown.
Keep us posted. I'm going to be checking. You're going to get it. I know everything I've heard about you. You're going to get it, but I'm going to have you back when you do. We're going to celebrate.
It's going to be a weird one because everything I've ever done is like contracted and for exposure and for lights and for this, like basically everything I've ever done makes money for random men that have had no input in my career. So this one is for the family. Everything about this show, from the from the live stream, the commentators, the reffing, is people that matter to me. It's people that have had input into my career. And so, yeah, not a single person is benefiting from this that doesn't deserve to. And this one is for me. And I can't wait.
That's perfect.
I love it. Well, thank you so much again. You are wonderful and incredible. And we will absolutely have you back. But in the meantime, please, I will say we're going to drop your Instagram in the description for people to check you out. We're going to tag you. So everyone, please, bye, Kaos. Please follow. Don't lose Kaos. Please follow Kaos. We'll give all the links to the different businesses and everything you would like. We will put it there for people to check out. But you've got something really special, and we can't wait to share it with everybody.
You're famous. No, thank you guys for having me on. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.